Hello and welcome once again to Jacob's Toys 5-minute figure reviews. Please do like, share, subscribe, all of those things. All support to the channel is very much appreciated. Today we are taking a look at the Marvel Legends What If line, and of course it is Zombie Hunter Spider-Man. Now, when this figure was first announced, there was a lot of speculation as to why Peter Parker was wearing Doctor Strange's cape, but of course that was explained in the episode. So essentially you could argue that there's two figures in one box here. Spider-Man comes with an additional two hands, the closed-fisted ones. He also comes with a masked head, as you would expect with a Spider-Man figure. And of course he comes with a bare-naked leg from the Watcher Build-A-Figure. There's something really comical about having a naked leg as the Build-A-Figure part in both Spider-Man and Doctor Strange. Anyway, without further ado, let's take a look at the figure. So the cape is nice. The cape is nice and solid. There's no peg hole in the back, so you can display it however you want. You can either display it on Spider-Man's shoulders or obviously separate. Now the actual figure itself is quite cool. There's a lot of kind of wear and tear to him. So he's got like muddy feet. He's got that red part on his thigh. There's kind of like dirty bits. Now I must admit, when I first saw it in the box, I thought that there was like paint blemishes and I thought that I had a bit of a dud version. But then upon further inspection, I can see that they've kind of weathered his suit down. Now the head sculpt has definitely divided people's opinions. Some people love it and some people hate it. I must admit, upon further inspection, I actually don't mind it. I think it looks really cool. I think it definitely resembles the character in the show. So personally, I think I'm a fan of the head sculpt. Now, having a look at the hands, let's take these off. These are the web spinning hands. If you take those off, you can see his web shooters here are attached to his arms, so you can't actually get those off, which did surprise me because I thought they would just be kind of an additional part that they just slid on, but they are attached to those arms. So the hands pop out in and out really easy like they do on most of the 6-inch figures. And there you have it, he's in a bit more of a neutral pose. I'm personally not a huge fan of those web spinning hands anyway. So let's have a look at a few other Spider-Men. So this is an MCU version of Spider-Man, Tom Holland's Spider-Man. And straight away you can see the similarities. I'll also pull in a younger version of Peter Parker. So this is the comic book one. So this is from Ultimate Spider-Man, I believe. And it's got a really cool unmasked head as well, like the teenage looking one. So I use this one just because obviously this is a younger version of Spider-Man as well. But let's put him over the side a little bit and just have a look at these two. So you can see that the What If version definitely takes a lot from the MCU. There's a lot of similarities there and there's a lot of kind of reused parts. So essentially very similar. I must admit, when I saw the early production photos of this, I thought that it was just an MCU costume, but upon close inspection you can see that there is differences. Now you can see the colour is straight away a difference, so the What If is a much more kind of vibrant red and blue. Let me just pop that masked head on because it is a really nice Spider-Man figure. Now my personal initial plans was to get this, to take the cape off and then have it as like a cartoon version of the MCU Spider-Man, but it is too different to pass off as an MCU Spider-Man, and unfortunately because of the weathering on the costume as well, I don't want to have him without the cape. I don't want to stand him up on his own. I think that he needs the cape, even though he only actually wore the cape or the cloak for a very short time in the episode, because the cloak kind of featured as a character of its own. But the two definitely went together, and I think that's a really cool look to have. And if you're having a What If display, then a What If Spider-Man has to have that cloak. And I actually think that I'm going to display him with the unmasked head. He didn't wear his mask for a huge amount of time in the episode, so it seems only fitting to have him displayed as intended like this. Now you can see because these arms are new, they are pinless, but the legs have got pins, as I just pointed out there. So it makes sense to have his arms up so that you're kind of showing off that pinless tech there as well. Or at least in a position where you can see that there's no pins in his arms. But I think overall, I think that's a really quite a unique look for Spider-Man. It's not something we've seen before in the comic books. It's only something we've seen in the What If show. So, and I'm really loving his head. I must admit, it's a really nice masked head. So I am kind of on the fence. Let me just pull in Doctor Strange. Now, even though these two didn't share the screen together, obviously he's wearing his cloak. So let's just have a look at them next to each other. And you can see there's a distinct difference between the two capes that Doctor Strange is wearing. Actually, let's see if we can just do a bit of a swap around, just to see how it looks, just to feed my curiosity whether this cape works on him or not. Well, I suppose it does. Yeah, doesn't look too bad, but wouldn't make any sense at all. So I'm not going to keep it like that. But just for the sake of curiosity, you can see that the cloaks are interchangeable. But this is definitely how I'm going to display my What If Spider-Man. Much to my surprise, I didn't think I was going to use the cloak, and I didn't think I was going to use the unmasked head. But having a look at them now, I think this is how I want him on my What If display. Overall, he's a really cool figure. Not the best Spider-Man out there for Marvel Legends, so if you're just going for him just because of him being Spider-Man, then I'd recommend picking up a different version. But if you want a what-if Spider-Man, then this is definitely your go-to. Please do like, share, subscribe if you're enjoying the 5-minute figure reviews. All support is very much appreciated, and I will catch you very soon.